And more condolences have been pouring in over the demise of Governor Akeredolu. This time is coming from the Nigeria's Governors Forum that have expressed sadness on the death, describing him as an exceptional statesman who has indelible marks in public service. In a statement by the chairman of the forum and the governor of Kwara State, Mr. Abdurrahman Abdulrazak, the governors send their condolences to the Progressive Governors Forum, the people, and the government of Ondo State, the Nigerian Bar Association, as well as the immediate family of Mr. Akeredolu. The forum describes Mr. Akeredolu as a frontline lawyer and conscientious politician of progressive bent. The governors say the former governor will be remembered for his courage, patriotism, and immeasurable contributions to the constitutional and socio-political development of Nigeria. And that's not all that is coming from the people commiserating. This time, the Yoruba Social-Cultural Group Afenifere is also commiserating with the family of the late Governor Akeredolu and the people of Ondo State. In a statement by the Forum's Secretary General, it lists the virtues and legacies that the foremost lawyer will be missed for, to include his courageous standpoint on issues of the structure of Nigeria and his doggedness in demanding that the seat of the president of the country return to the South, in spite of the insistence of some party members that it can go to any part of the country. Now, I did say in my opener, it wasn't just Governor Akeredolu that died. A former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mr. Ghali Naba, has also died at the age of 65. Born on September the 27th, 1958, the late Alhaji Naba battled a prolonged illness before succumbing to death. Alhaji Naba, a prominent figure in Nigerian politics, served as a Speaker of the House of Representatives between 1999 and 2003. His health struggles had previously prompted his medical evacuation abroad for treatment, leading to an extended period away from Nigeria. However, he successfully recuperated and returned to his home country, this is Nigeria. Initially affiliated with the People's Democratic Party, he represented the Kano Municipal Federal Constituency, securing victory during the April 1999 general elections. According to family sources, the remains of the former speaker has been buried in Abuja today, according to Islamic rites. And sustained with affairs in Ondo State, this time the acting governor of Ondo State, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, has now been sworn in as the governor of Ondo State following the death of Rotimi Akeredolu this morning. The swearing-in was held at the Koko Conference Hall in the governor's office in Akure, the state capital, and was administered by the Chief Justice, Justice Olusegun Odushola, at 5:18 p.m. Nigerian time. In his acceptance remarks, Governor Aiyedatiwa says it is with a heavy heart that he accepts this onerous responsibility of taking over the reins of governance and affairs of state after the unfortunate loss and passing of his beloved governor and leader, Oluwarotimi Akeredolu. Present to witness the swearing-in are the other judges and top government officials, including the secretary to the state government and members of the cabinet, the State All Progressives Congress chairman, and members of the State House of Assembly.
Lucky, Aiyedatiwa, do solemnly swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that as governor of Ondo State, I will discharge my duties to the best of my ability, faithfully, and in accordance with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the law, and always in the interest of the sovereignty, integrity, solidarity, well-being, and prosperity of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That I will strive to preserve the fundamental objectives and directive principles of the state policy contained in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That I will not allow my personal interests to influence my official conduct or my official decisions, that I will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That I will abide by the code of conduct contained in the 5th schedule to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That in all circumstances, I will do right to all manner of people according to law, without fear or favor, affection or ill will, that I will not directly or indirectly communicate or reveal to any person any matter which shall be brought under my consideration or shall become known to me as a governor of Ondo State, except as may be required for the due discharge of my duties as governor, and that I will devote myself to the service and well-being of people of Nigeria. So help me God.
I can imagine how much of a mixed feeling that will be for now Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa. Now, away from that, the President, Bola Tinubu, has called on all state governments to join hands with him to fight poverty and terrorism in the country. President Tinubu made the appeal at the Lagos House Marina, where it was hosted by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, saying himself and his financial team are working very hard to make Nigeria better. He also explains how he empathizes with the feelings of hardship that the people are going through and promises to work hard to give Nigerians the best economy and opportunity anyone can imagine. The president commended Governor Sanwo-Olu and his deputy for holding the fort in the affairs of Lagos State and making it remain the center of excellence.
Nigeria is challenged, which it has always been. But we will go through it. We are already seeing the blossomness of our flower and plants. A lot of changes that will transform this economy. Financial re-engineering of our country is ongoing. It cannot just be pushed out in a way that you can command and conjure a situation. But we are determined to take Nigeria through the tunnel of hope, stability, and successful economic prosperity. We are, and I want you to join the campaign to start the enrollment of our children into schools, building more schools, giving food to our children in school, regardless. We have to grow more food. It is at the local government and state level. School feeding is an attraction for enrollment of the poor people in school. And to get them in classes, education is to reduce of poverty and terrorism.
The president is clear. A concerted effort at fighting poverty and terrorism is required by the federal government in synergy with the subnationals. Talking about that, the vice president, Kashim Shettima, says the administration of President Bola Tinubu is determined to bring an end to the security challenges in Plateau State and other parts of the country. He said this during a visit to Bogus local government area of Plateau State, where he met with the victims of the Christmas Day attacks by marauders. According to him, the president is touched by the barbaric act and assures the people of justice, maintaining that the perpetrators of the heinous crime will be brought to book. In the meantime, Senator Shettima has directed the National Emergency Management Agency to provide immediate intervention to those affected, especially those displaced from their homes. Hundreds of family members or families are now living in internally displaced persons camps provided by the state government following that very incident.
The grief that binds us is a testament to our shared humanity, not differences. Each of us here knows the pain of losing one or two loved ones, but burying families is a rare experience, an indescribable nightmare. We cannot fathom the depth of this grief beyond the experience of the bereaved. We can only offer to assuage your pain. What has happened to you is a funeral for the entire nation. Our hearts bleed alongside yours, our dear brothers and sisters in Bokos, Barkin-Ladi, and all over Plateau State. We came to power promising to uphold the sanctity of every citizen's life. And now is the time to reassure you that this inter-community violence, which has hijacked the humanity and serenity of this beautiful state over the past decades, will never persist under our watch.
Well, we have other political stories around the country in our political roundup stories.
The River State Elders Forum has been reacting to Governor Siminalayi Fubara's Christmas Day broadcast. In an open letter sent to the governor in Port Harcourt, the chairman of the Elders and Leaders Forum, a former governor of the state, Mr. Rufus Ada George, notes that they do not see any peace in the presidential peace proclamation.
We, the people of River State, do not see any peace in this so-called Mr. President's peace proclamation.
The Enugu governor, Mr. Peter Mba, has signed the 2024 appropriation bill tagged Budget of Disruptive Economic Growth into law, with commitment to rebuild the state. Speaking shortly after signing at the government house in Enugu, the governor notes that the budget will enable his government to address some social infrastructural challenges in the state. He also charged his commissioners to work hard and ensure they meet their targets in line with Key Performance Index on revenue generation.
The first time we're spending this size on our capex. It also means that we're going to have huge economic activities in Enugu State.
Similarly, the Anambra State Governor, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, has signed the 2024 appropriation bill into law. According to the governor, the 410 billion naira for the 2024 fiscal year is for the transformation of the state. Governor Soludo promises the state will start to experience more developmental projects from the first day of January 2024.
And a new value system, and of course, the environment towards a planned, clean, green, planned and sustainable Anambra. All the budget pays attention to these 5 pillars.
And the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party in Ondo State in the March 18th governorship election, Mr. Aiyedatiwa, has reported himself at the state police headquarters in Abeokuta, the state capital, over an alleged vote-buying allegation during the election. Mr. Aiyedatiwa was accompanied by some of his aides at the visit, which lasted for about an hour. At the police headquarters, the PDP governorship candidate expressed optimism of winning at the Supreme Court.
The matters have arrived at the Supreme Court, and we are certain we shall get justice. What they are hiding and acting so desperately about, why they are hiding desperately, we shall continue to follow the process, and we believe that the institutions of Nigeria shall protect us.
Welcome back. Those are your political roundup stories. And today we're focusing on basically 2 things. What's happening in Ondo State given the passing or the death of Governor Rotimi Akeredolu. Also, we're seeing that the death toll in Plateau continues to rise, almost 150 or so. The numbers continue to rise. As you've seen in our earlier on the program that the Vice President, Senator Kashim Shettima, was in Jos today in Plateau State to commiserate with the family and has made a promise on behalf of the president that the perpetrators of the heinous crime will not go unpunished. He maintained that justice will be served. And the president has always maintained, sometime in July this year, that, look, this cycle of carnage and killing has to stop. Let's hope that all of this will be beyond words and action will be put in place. So we're going to discuss that later part of the show today. But for now, we're going to focus on the incident that occurred in Ondo State, the passing of Governor Rotimi Akeredolu and the eventual swearing in of Lucky Aiyedatiwa as the governor of the state. I'm being joined in our Lagos studio right here by the head of department of political science of Caleb University, Mr. Samuel Ido. Mr. Samuel, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Also joining us via Zoom, all the way from Nakuru, is an APC chieftain, Mr. Soji Ajisafe. Thank you so much, Mr. Ajisafe. Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you. My name is Shola. Shola, not Soji.
Okay, Shola Ajisafe. Okay, Shola Ajisafe. Thank you so much, sir, for coming on the program. Also joining us via Zoom is a senior advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Paul Ananaba. Thank you, sir, for coming on the program, sir.
Thank you.
So, gentlemen, there's a lot that is happening in the country, but it's a mixed emotion. Since Christmas Day, we had the incident of the Christmas Day attack, and then now 2 men have died, Governor Akeredolu being one of them. Of course, Ghali Omanahaba, the speaker, as way back as 1999, also died. So let me come to you, Doctor. What's your initial reaction and thought to the incident or the death of Governor Akeredolu?
Thank you. Well, the death is something that occurs even when one least expected. And that of Akeredolu, to some of us, is very sudden and shocking, though he has been ill for a while. But that notwithstanding, it is expected that even while we are alive, we should endeavor to prepare for death, since it is an imminent end for every mortal. And the political scenario surrounding or preceding his death is what makes his death more shocking, because he has gone on vacation based on health grant, and just in recent past, his reluctance to hand over power also generated heat in the state, to the extent that the president, Bola Tinubu, has to wade in to settle the case. But once this has happened, I think the state manager, the National Assembly, and the acting governor must endeavor to strike a good balance in order to ensure that the people in the state are placated by these unfortunate incidents. Otherwise, the polity will just be heated up unnecessarily. And that is not what is needed now, because the people want to see that they show more of empathy and also endeavor not to lose the steering of political management of the state. So those things are what is more important and paramount to the people of Ondo State at a given time like this.
Let me come to you, Mr. Ajisafe. You're a chieftain of the APC and in Ondo State, and the good doctor here had actually said, look, what is needed now is not rancor and all of that, is to look forward. But before we get into the future, what is the general mood right now in Akure and the entire Ondo State? If you can give us a feel of what is happening in the state, and then we can continue the conversation from there. And how did you, as members of the APC, receive this news?
Thank you very much. Good evening, Nigerians. And then my condolence to the people of Ondo State and the well-wishers and the family of our leader, Arakuni Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, SANCOL. In Ondo State, currently, the general mood is peaceful, it's sober situation. Akeredolu is a highly loved and respected leader. He has been a very, very good 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 leader. those who know Akeredolu knows him that he's a man without boundaries. He's a man of unquantifiable capacity. He's loved by his people. He has worked for them. He has worked with them. He was a former attorney general. He is from Owo, a historical town, and also a man who won 2 elections twice, and a man who protected his people from herdsmen and marauders. You need to see what Akeredolu has done, Ondo State and Akeredolu. But as it is, politics is all we've seen for this past few period, and it happens like that. But currently, a new governor has taken over, which is the acting governor, his deputy governor, the acting governor, and now the substantive governor. And that is the working of the Constitution. And the people of Ondo State are happy, and everywhere is cool. All I know is that he will get the support that he desired, that he needed. It depends on him, though. It is the amount of hands across the Niger that he puts forward. But I believe that they started this second term together, and they know there is a plan on ground. So let's see how he implements the Akeredolu plan. And if he wants to go with his own plan, of course, he's now the substantive governor. And I wish him well. I wish him very, very well.
Let me come to you, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Nanaba. Listening to Mr. Ajisafe on some things he said, I took note of the fact that he said, let's see how things go. Are you curious as to the fact that things may not be as perfect as is expected to be, given the remarks that was made and given the things that were like build up to this moment, to the eventual passing of Governor Akeredolu? Are you worried that that political wrangling has not really left entirely and may raise head again just any moment from now?
The first thing, my brother, is I am in shock and mourning mood with the death of a former president of Nigerian Bar Association. He was the 24th president of the bar, and he did well as president of the bar. He was the former attorney general of Ondo State and commissioner for justice. And one of the last times I saw him was when I was the chairman of SPIDEL, Section on Public Interest and Development Law in Nigerian Bar Association. I invited him to our conference in Ibadan. And quite unlike other governors, he came. He came and participated as a barman, not even as a governor. He was free, he mixed up with other lawyers. So I joined in mourning him, and I commiserate with the good people of Ondo State, the bar and the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who have lost a man that is forthright. You can't take it away from the late Arakuri, the executive former governor of Ondo State. If you had watched this project, you will see him come on national issues and will not play politics with them. He will just say things the way they are. You may not like it, but that's what he stood for. Wranglings before his death in the political space, particularly in Nigeria, there is that wrangling, whether the man is alive or dead. But I believe that it is him that chose his deputy. When he chose his deputy, he would have seen something in his deputy, who is now the governor. I expect that whatever the issues were before Akeredolu died, that should die with that. It shouldn't come up again. The former deputy governor is now the governor. He should become the father of the state. and should ensure that distractions don't come into the state. I believe that Governor Akeredolu, while he was alive, led Ondo State properly. And one point I want to make at this point is that death does not give notice. It does not tell you, hardly any man knows the day he will die. Medical science can help to predict, yes. Nobody is immune from death. So we should live our lives in the best form. Nobody should go on to commit trouble in Ondo State. We should be in a mourning mood. We should respect the good values that Governor Akeredolu has left and improve on them. We shouldn't have issue of struggling, fighting, and all that. It is God that makes kings. It is God that makes governors. It is God that removes governors. That is my message to Ondo State, and that's my position.
Let me go back to Akure to talk to Mr. Ajisafe. You did mention, I'm curious, let's see how it goes. What are your expectations going forward? Because we have a range of things we may talk about concerning Ondo State, if time allows. Now that Governor Aiyedatiwa is in charge, what are your expectations? Because we cannot just forget that barely months ago, there were issues, political issues that required presidential intervention twice. So what are the expectations from party members, some of those who played key roles in all of the wrangling, as I mentioned, to see that, okay, if we see this, that, and this, we're going to give peace a chance and just allow this rule to the expiration of this term?
Well, let me be very clear. The people of Ondo State loved Akeredolu, and Akeredolu picked the current governor who has just been sworn. And they have been working together since 2012. All of us have been working together since 2012. I constantly said in some of the conversation that I had that people that are trying to cause disaffection are non-state actors. Many of them
of course, technology will do what technology does. But as soon as that connection is quite clear, we'll get back to Mr. Ajisafe because he's an Ondo State APC chieftain. So some of my questions he will answer directly as a key player in the politics of that state. Let me come to you, Dr. Akeredolu, on this. I may tail off just from that particular question because now there's a new governor. A lot of people have extolled the fact that Akeredolu, as he's called, is very brave. He's very courageous. The president, a lot of people say, look, if he says the thing, he stands by it. Now, he's written his own chapter and he's left the scene. Now it's Aiyedatiwa's turn. What do you think he should do to bring all the political actors that were part of those who played one role or the other that required a presidential intervention? What do you think he can start doing now to unite the people, rally them for development of the state, for the peaceful coexistence of everybody?
Well, first and foremost, I want the current governor to first understand some facts about life, because people will be on the lookout for his reaction after the demise of his principal. And in Africa, when it comes to death, we don't make mockery of it. So he needs to show a more of sober reflection that will make people to actually see the genuinity of the pain and the grief of the loss of his boss. Because that will go a long way to make him more endearing to people. And secondly, I will also want him to do more of interest management. He needs to manage multiple interests in the state. For instance, the late governor has his own camp and rallies. At the same time, he has his own sympathizers in the state. Now, how will he be able to bring a margin point, a melting point of those interests in such a way that the broken walls will be well amended, and that will pave way for a new political life, a healthy one for that matter, in the state. Otherwise, the imbroglio will degenerate to such an extent that opposition parties will likely seize or take advantage of it. So he is now the main stakeholder that must give a very sensitive leadership to the party. And for now, if I may suggest, he needs to share his governorship ambition and face governance. Since the ticket is a joint one, just as the APC shifting said in Ondo State, that the way the governor stopped, he needs to pick it up from there. He must not just only begin to get get himself associated only with his allies. He needs to embrace others in order to create an atmosphere that will make him to be acceptable. It will give everyone a sense of belonging. Because before now, everybody has their interest, they have their perception about him. But he can try to prove them wrong. That yes, there is difference. I mean, there is room for conflict, but at the same time, there's room for settlement of conflicts. It is not a time where you try to justify every action taken, whether in the past or in the present. It is a time for him to condescend and come to the level of average politicians, average citizen of Ondo State, so that they can be able to understand that he is a good man and a statecraft that can actually continue where Ogbeni Akeredolu stopped, and therefore make peace to permeate across the length and breadth of Ondo State.
Mr. Jisafe, let me come back to you. We had that glitch due to network. So can you hear me now, sir? Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay,
Yeah.
you know, he may be speaking, the doctor may be speaking from outside in, so let's talk of inside out now. The expectation, those are the questions I asked. Now, Governor Akeredolu has done his part, which was mentioned that he has contributed his quota to the state and to the nation, and he's left the scene. Now he's in the hands of Lucky Aiyedatiwa to continue from where he stopped. He has mentioned that for now, he should shelve his governorship ambition. First question, do you agree he should shelve it for now? And second, what does he have to do to win as many people, it may be too ambitious to say everybody, as many people as possible, maybe rallying around the recent sentiment of this passing to move the state forward?
Well, let me start with the issue of shelving his governorship ambition. It is his right as a Nigerian, as an Ondo State person, and equally as a sitting governor now. He can contest. So we can't take his right away from him. That's number one. But more fundamentally, like the man from the university, Caleb University said, he must develop a template by which he can bring all the people together. There have been a lot of dichotomy amongst the people of those states because of the certain interests who were initially opposed to Akeredolu when he was alive. He didn't give me ticket, he didn't do this. They have a lot of grounds against Akeredolu, and they came, joined themselves together to support the current governor, who was his deputy, and then they fought Akeredolu until this present moment. But Lucky Aiyedatiwa has now become the governor. I want to see him as a statesman. I want to see him as the father of the state. And I'm sure Ondo State people are peace-loving people. They will express to him the kind of love, affinity, and passion they expressed to Akeredolu and all he had done for the state. If you look at Akeredolu, he started the Amotekun Amotekun security network. Ondo State have the place where you have it working off in the southwest. So many construction, so many things. But it should not allow these no state actors, vested interest, who are opposed to Akeredolu, like continue to push him, because they pushed him all to this moment that he got to a state of no return. But by God's own will, but by natural selection, by the natural happenstance, Akeredolu is no more. But his legacy remains. His legacies, both personal and corporate, the one he did as a politician, nobody can override it. I want to say that Akeredolu is the father of modern Ondo State. And I put that on record today. When you look at Ondo State currently, Akeredolu is the father of modern Ondo State. He proved that he's a lawyer. He proved that he's a senior advocate of Nigeria. He proved that he was a former attorney general of the state. And he proved that he was a past president of the Nigerian Bar Association. I equally proved that he is a Democrat. He is a Democrat. And so I want to appeal to the governor, our own Honorable Lucky Orimisan Aiyedatiwa, that he should not listen to those people who are on the in Ondo State and in Abuja pushing so much problems towards the state. He should now bring everybody together, whether politically, socially, economically, or otherwise. Those areas he feels he can improve upon, he now has the ticket to do it. And those areas he feels he wants to remove, let him remove it. Initially, I was the person who said, as long as Akeredolu was still alive, he could not dissolve the expo. Then, but that one is past now. Akeredolu is no more. Lucky Aiyedatiwa is now the governor. He must rally every other person.
Mr. Ajisha first, so sorry, the technical glitch. But we're going to come and wrap up this conversation on Ondo politics as well as the passing of Rotimi Akeredolu, and then we move on to other issues of the day. Do stay with us. Welcome back. Let's say again and again that our prayers and our thoughts are with the family of the Akeredolus at this very, very difficult and challenging moment. He's fought this hard and long, and eventually nature took its course. And of course, they say it's the way of all men. Eventually, we do not have Rotimi Akeredolu anymore with us, as he died today at the age of 67. And which is why we're talking about the state of affairs of Ondo State post Rotimi Akeredolu. Now, Lucky Aiyedatiwa is the governor. He's been sworn in earlier today by the chief judge of the state following the passing of his principal. Let me bring in Mr. Paul Ananaba. Mr. Paul, thank you so much for staying with us. I don't know what action, because I've asked this in several different ways, because a lot of people are expecting certain actions from the governor. The governor that has now been sworn in, I mean, Lucky Aiyedatiwa. If you were to advise him right now on take this level of action to unite the state, to bring hope to the people, to see how you can make progress and build on the legacy of Rotimi Akeredolu, what will those things be exactly?
I will start from telling him that there's a reason why the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria makes provision for an associate or a running mate. The reason is that both of them will run a joint ticket so that there is no loss to the state as a result of death of the main candidate. Now, I will tell him that, constitutionally speaking, Akeredolu had the discretion to choose who will be his running mate. And while he was alive, he saw him as a fit and proper person to choose as a running mate, and he chose him. The fact that he was chosen as a running mate does not mean that there will not be misunderstandings on the. Akeredolu is a highly cerebral man. Not every person can work with him. You must know your onion to work with him. Now, having worked with him, he did not exit because of man-made reading. He's no longer governor today because of death. It is not Akeredolu's fault. That reason why he was made deputy governor at 16. Would there be challenges? Yes. He should brace up immediately and stabilize the state and know that he is now the governor of the state. He should no longer succumb to distractions. These people did this, this one did not do this, and these people said this. It is God that has made him the governor today. And having become the governor, he should rule with the fear of God. He should see every part of Ondo State as his constituency. He should also learn from David in the Bible to show mercy and show respect to the Akeredolu family, both the normal family and Akeredolu's political family. Because David got to a time and said, is there nobody in the house of Saul I can show mercy? That's what to do now. He should not go into probes, witch hunts, fighting. No. Ondo State is a peace-loving state. It's one of the good states in this country. He should do more beyond where Akeredolu stopped. So that's why he was chosen. He should take his decisions that the Constitution allows him to take, but he should remember that everybody will also leave office one day, either through death or through some other means. So I don't agree that he should shape his political ambitions. Those are constitutional rights. Anyone he wants to do, he should do in good respect for Akeredolu and his legacies. He should remember that he has duty to God and to the people of Ondo State primarily. No part of Ondo State should suffer because Akeredolu just died. He should do so well that he can win even the goodwill of his former boss. That's what's expected of him. He should be a gentleman. He should be peace-loving. He should be a unifying factor. That it will be said, Akeredolu also chose well when he chose Aiyedatiwa as the deputy governor. Now he's governor. All those good ideas, it is time to put them in practice.
All right, so let me go to Akure as we wrap this up. Before I switch gears now, Mr. Jisafe, so I'm sure that in any moment from now, we're going to hear some of the things that the governor will be doing, probably presentation of a budget, because I don't think that has been done, and to see how the fiscal year 2024 is going to look like. As I look at the audited report from State of the State from Budget, I see that between 2021 and 2022, the IGR dropped by 13%. So let me just ask you just a straight economic question. In terms of the fiscal policy that you'll be expecting from the government now, of a continuation of the government of Akeredolu from Lucky Aiyedatiwa, what kind of budget do you expect to see that can help put this state on that progressive path at the end of the day?
Thank you very much. Let me start by,
The question is for Mr. Ajishafe.
Okay, thank you. Let me start by endorsing exactly what my learned colleague, my senior learned colleague, the learned Sikh, said in total. I think I'm endorsing in respect of the expectation about Ondo State. Again, with respect to the economic aspect of Ondo State, well, I'm an economic fool. I don't know much about economics, but I know that during the period of Akeredolu, the IGR quadrupled, and it should continue in that way because he did a lot of financial re-engineering with his team, particularly with the Commissioner for Finance, Honorable Wale Akeredolu. They were able to increase the IGR of the state from something like 600 million to about 1.something billion, and that's still running. So for me, the budget now, I will expect that it will continue on a path of growth and development for the people of Ondo. Again, what the learned Sikh said is the way to go. Rally together all the people. You are now the governor. You desired the governorship, and you got it. Please rally the people of Ondo State for the peace and progress of the state. And I wish him well. For those of us who are the part of I want to say without missing what that I'm the part of Akeredolu during all this wahala. But now that he has become the governor, we are here. If we will give him all the support as a citizen of Ondo State. We are not necessarily looking for any appointment or anything. We will support him where necessary and where we need to criticize him. Just even the way we did when Akeredolu was there, when he was the governor, and we had his team. I criticized him. We criticized him. We advised him. We will continue to do it. I wish Mr. Governor well. I pray for him. Let Ondo State win. Let Ondo State win. Let Ondo State win.
Gentlemen, let's begin to wrap this up. I did say we have two issues. I know, Mr. Ajishafe, we brought you to talk Ondo, but we may just pick your brains on this one, on the issue of security in Plateau State. Let me come back to you, Dr. Idowu. The death toll in Plateau has actually risen to almost 160. Yesterday, we talked about this extensively. And one of the challenges that has been noticed is that sometimes, or a couple of the time, people feel that there's no consequence for bad behavior. This place used to be a haven for tourism and all sorts, where people want to travel to, but now it's become some sort of a killing field in parts of the country, in parts of the state. What do you think the government can do beyond promises that they've been promising to make sure that this will be the last time this carnage occurs in Plateau? I'm going to put that question across to everyone.
Oh, thank you. I think I commiserate with the people of Plateau, just the way we did for Ondo people. But it is very painful when you receive this kind of news, especially at a time that we have a new government that has promised to checkmate and bring this kind of dastardly act to a standstill. But that notwithstanding, I feel the government needs to have a synergy of strategy among the security network. The issue of not trying to work together in order to gather reasonable intelligence that will be harnessed and we serve as a blueprint to work with is one of the causes of this. Because by my little experience about Nigerian security system, you observe that there is this rivalry among the security agencies. And it calls for concern. If the police has an information, and there's no need wasting time sharing such information with other security agencies. Why I will also appeal that the citizens, especially the indigents of those crisis-ridden areas in Nigeria, must also have their value to this case.
Okay.
Because sometimes they inhabit that territory and they are privileged to monitor and see things more closely than the security agency at times.
Okay.
So they must also be ready and be willing to let out every information at their disposal.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Samuel Idowu, Head of Department of Political Science, Caleb University. Well, Mr. Paul Ananaba, I'm so sorry. I understand that I'm totally out of time. I would have loved to get your input on this issue of Plateau security, but we discussed it extensively. We may have to bring you back to comment on it, on the legal aspect as much as possible. Mr. Shola Ajisafe, an Ondo APC chieftain, thank you as well for coming on the program as we had this conversation majorly around the passing of Governor Rotimi Akeredolu and the development of Ondo State going forward. So thank you, gentlemen, for coming on the program. And that's it on the program for tonight. Thank you so much for your time. And, of course, your usual company. I'm Jeffrey Uzonga. God bless Nigeria.